This morning on Inside the Game, it's semifinal night in the U.S. Open Cup as Nashville hosts Philadelphia with a trip to the final on the line. In college soccer, we've got the latest shakeups in the Big Ten's men's and women's standings as conference play heats up. And in the NWSL, the Seattle Racing Louisville match was abandoned after Savannah D'Amelio's collapse. We'll bring you the latest update on her condition and when the match will resume. All that and more this morning on Inside the Game.
Welcome to Inside the Game on the National Soccer Network. Now, here are your hosts, Jonathan Turner and Nathan Wangler.
Good morning and happy Tuesday morning. It is the 16th day of September. It is episode number 159 here of Inside the Game. I'm Jonathan Turner alongside Ryan Glinsky. Again, Nate Wangler still out west here this morning as we bring you in here into my we have what I think we have 5 cameras now. I feel like, right? We've got let's run through them here real quick. We've got
that one's close up.
Oh, that was really. What was that?
That one.
Wow.
That's that one. That one just close up.
Super close up. It must have zoomed in. Okay, next.
Then this is the third one right here. And then this is the one that's right there.
Well, I think it might be appropriate for me to make a quick adjustment to that camera. So why don't we put the camera on you real quick while I do that?
All right, that's
and
fine.
Say if you would tell, what do we have going on this morning?
We got a lot of stuff going on here this morning. We have the Big Ten standings with the women's and the men's teams as they just completed their first week of Big Ten play. We had a big upset between Michigan and Indiana. We also have some MLS talk. We have the Final Four of the U.S. Open Cup today and tomorrow. We have a story out of the UWSL? NWSL. Got my words or my letters wrong, but we have a ton of stuff for you today, and of course, question of the day: who's favorite? Which is my favorite segment. But yeah, let's run through the cameras once again. Here we got the normal shot, got the close up, okay, and then we got a wide shot, and then another wide shot. So we're really upping our camera game around here at NSN.
That we are. You gotta go all in, right? And so we're excited. Hey, I think the really cool thing too is we are officially able to pull in our full broadcast into TikTok. So to all of those who are watching right now on TikTok, you're seeing what everyone is seeing on YouTube and Roku and which has been, a goal of mine here the last couple of weeks, and we are finally able to do that here as a result of yesterday's show and some testing that we did.
Yeah, the funniest thing was when I was making a TikTok video that you may have saw yesterday. Which again, if you haven't followed TikTok, follow it. We're trying to get to 1,000 followers. We're at 700.
There's a goal right on our TikTok screen, so you just got to hit the
follow it.
Yeah.
Follow it. And I was making a TikTok video yesterday about how the MLS scored 57 goals that we talked about yesterday, and Bianca sends me a text, goes, "You know you guys are live on TikTok, right?" I was like, yeah, I know. And she's like, "Well, it's just John on the phone." I was like, "Yeah, we're running a test to make sure that we can do the full broadcast on TikTok tomorrow." So that was kind of a funny joke where we just had 2 random 25-minute live streams of John just sitting at the desk on his phone. That's funny.
In order to get to where we want to go, we have to sometimes do things that maybe are uncomfortable or part of the testing. But either way, we are happy to be bringing you full coverage of our show here on TikTok. We are live on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Roku TV. All right, so we're everywhere this morning, and we are excited. Den did join us. Den was on the show yesterday as far as, and we'll try to call out. Here's the thing. If you want to be part of our comments here on this show, you have a question about anything related to soccer, the sport of soccer, doesn't matter. We'll do a mailbag segment here towards the end of this show. And so we'll put that graphic up on the screen right now, our mailbag segment. Again, that comes in here a little bit later in the show. You got questions, you got comments. You can absolutely be a part of the conversation here later on the show. So get those comments in now. We'll try and read them off here, whether you're on Instagram, YouTube, does not matter. We will try to get those comments in the show here later. Breaking news that happened here just before we went on the air this morning. A well-known actor. He was in movies such as The Natural and Winter Soldier here recently, but Robert Redford was announced to be passing away this morning in his Utah home. Again, it's we hear these stories of people passing, and you didn't quite know who Robert Redford was.
Not at first, no.
Looked at his history, his IMDb. Is it IMDb?
I just went on Wikipedia,
and it tells you what his credits are. He was in Winter Soldier. He was one of the bad guys in that movie. But Robert Redford had a long, storied history in the world of acting and movies. He passed away this morning at his home in Sundance in the mountains of Utah, the place he loved, surrounded by those he loved. He'll be missed greatly, which was written by his publicist. Berger said in a statement, the family requests privacy at this time. He was 89 years old.
That's a long life, but yeah, I didn't recall anything that he did until I saw The Winter Soldier, and then I was like, oh yeah, this makes total sense. He played a good role in that movie. That a lot of twists and turns in the Winter Soldier movie, and he was part of that. So prayers out to his family in their time of mourning here. But yeah, I do know who he is.
You do now.
Now, yes, now.
Yeah, you do now. We have last Wednesday. We are all part of, and not all of us, but I mean we know what happened last Wednesday, right? Last Wednesday, September the 10th, we watched as a man was assassinated. To be fair, really on live TV. I mean, the manner in which what we saw last week. Is something that we've talked about, something that you're not supposed to see.
Yeah.
And I think it's arguably to say it's the equivalent really of watching what happened to JFK. JFK, the Zapruder films, right? If you ever watched anything related to that was a pretty significant moment in our history, right? And then what we've seen as a result, right? There's been a lot of discussion in and around the media, around social media, around everything related to what happened last week. There's a lot of different opinions about everything. We've seen a lot of different vigils and announcements. We heard from his wife, Erica Kirk, as well this week. And I think it was on Sunday that we heard from her. And so a lot has happened. And we are, as a production broadcast partner of Oak University, we are gearing up for our first ESPN Plus game here on Sunday. And last night they had a vigil, not Oak University, but on the campus of Oak University. They had a vigil for Charlie Kirk. And I'll tell you, I've seen some of the images. I'm not going to put them on your screen, but saw some of the imagery that came out last night. There were a significant amount of people last night at that vigil in Auburn Hills, Rochester Hills, Michigan. And you're seeing it all across the country. You're seeing it. And I think the biggest takeaway that I can take away from this is, regardless of where your opinions are about Charlie Kirk or about what his message was, is at the end of the day, he was still a husband, he was still a father, he was still a son, regardless of what he did with his life, we all know what we saw, and we all know that it's a time to not, if you don't know him, you don't have to mourn him. I think that's a thing. But I think to understand that, hey, that man lost his life for speaking his mind, that's never acceptable in our society, regardless of your perspective or point of view. And it's violence on either side is not a good thing, right? I think that's the biggest thing, is there's no place for violence. And I know that we've tried to stay away from the political aspect on this show. I've said this time and time again. I'll continue to say it. If you want your politics, you can go someplace else. That's not this place. But I still think we have as a responsibility, not only to our audience, but also a responsibility that we have a platform, that we do say things and call things out when we see them. I think it's our responsibility. I think it's, someone made a comment that, the other day that I think we were the Oregon coach, football coach.
Dan Lanning.
Yeah, he mentioned about, again, how, Charlie Kirk had mentioned this is one of his favorite colleges, right? College football programs. And so he had made a statement about it, and he even goes, "Hey, I have this platform, and it's my responsibility to use that platform, you know, in a responsible way." And I think that's again something that we take very seriously here. And what I don't want to do is go down to some rabbit hole.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. But I just what I want to continue to say is this: I think that people are still processing this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we all process things differently. You know, and I think the other thing too is, you know, from someone who's going to be 44 here in December, I can tell you that everybody handles death differently, right? I have been, I would say not lucky. I think the wrong word to use is lucky, but I have experience in being in an environment where you have seen someone that you love pass away peacefully, you know, in a hospital bed, and been to many different funerals in my lifetime. So I've experienced death away peacefully, you know, in many lifetimes. They handled this, I think, in a very responsible way. They would educate me on death and introduce it to me so that I wasn't like going to be like one day when it happened and I didn't know how to deal with it. I think that's an important thing that we as anybody should have to experience certain things in their lifetime so that they aren't ill prepared. Now, there's not always a way to prepare people for stuff, Ryan, but I do think that I have gone through it, so I know how to process it to an extent, and I know how to kind of deal with it. But there are a lot of people out there who have never experienced anything to do with death. And my question for you this morning, Ryan, is: have you yourself ever experienced the loss of someone in your life and had to go through that process? Have you yourself experienced that?
Yeah, I've lost all of my grandparents at a younger age. When I was in middle school, and then my other grandma passed away just about 3 or 4 years ago, I believe. I was a sophomore at Central Michigan. And then the most recent death, and I've also lost some really good family friends as well. But most recently, I lost a dear friend while at Central Michigan junior year, really, really tragically. And that hurt a little bit. That hit a little bit different because he was a big part of our friends. You know, was always around our house, and, you know, not having that smile, that laughter around our house all the time, because he was a loud person. When he was in the room, you always knew he was in the room, just because of, you know, his laugh and you know, just being around everyone. So I've definitely experienced it. It's definitely tough. It's definitely tough, and especially when it's unexpected, it hurts a little bit more, I would say. Because, you know, my first passing of my grandfather, you know, we kind of knew a couple days before that, you know, he was going to go, but one of my grandmas, you know, she passed away unexpectedly. That one hurt a little bit different than my friend, you know, he passed away unexpectedly. So the unexpected ones, like, you know, we just saw with Charlie Kirk, and I'll also mention that Dan Lanning also mentioned in his press conference was that the world or the country could actually benefit from seeing his locker room. And what he was saying is there's lots of different ways of life in the Oregon locker room, and especially on the West Coast, because, you know, you have you know, the Hawaii, some of kind of backs from Detroit, Michigan. So, you know, that's a different perspective as well, and you just have different walks of life. But especially on the West Coast, you get that a little bit more than you would over here, and you know, different ways of life, you know, different skin colors, different heritages, different backgrounds, and, you know, they're all getting together for one common goal. And I think that's kind of how sports kind of brings everyone together, and sports is kind of an outlet for everyone to be brought back together.
No, I mean, Ryan, it's a great point. I think that we are in this really kind of weird place where a lot of people shocked and saddened by what took place, and even if you weren't saddened, just the shock of what you saw and what you had to kind of like process in your brain in that moment. I also think that there's a side here, again, where you hear the other side. You hear the side that's like, hey, didn't care, glad. And I think that it's all because we have a and again, it's on every side of this aisle. We have all, and I don't care if you're if you look at it from the soccer standpoint in the stands, a fan of the game, right? Our hatred or this emotional component where we're like, I don't like you, that when something bad happens to you, I still can't find a way to separate that anger and get into a place where I can be like, oh my gosh. Like when someone loses their job, we all go, when someone gets, when someone gets hurt, we're like clapping. I mean, it's like that. It's like and again, we can talk about desensitization. We can talk about how devaluing life. We can talk about all those things, but I don't, there's a lot of it's part of that as well. But I just think that we're so like locked into our positions and so locked into the way we are supposed to think that when something happens to the person that we've been thinking about, that we continue to dig our feet deeper. And that's where I struggle, because I've been guilty of it myself. Not in a public way, right? Let's be honest. In the subconscious, we are all thinking things vastly different than what we say out publicly.
I'd agree.
And so it doesn't matter what context or what environment, we are all guilty of that. And so my message to anybody is that, as I've said before, especially in today's world where everything is recorded, everything is live, you are never in privacy ever, is to take that moment, take a breath. If you have to reflect before you make a comment or a post, before you say something, because your words do matter. What you say does have power, more power today than it's ever had before. And so that's my message. There are a lot of people out there that are going to be way over the top. And if you subscribe to that, if you listen to that, understand that that's, it's a way of thinking, but maybe it's not the right way of thinking. And expose yourself to as many different people who can educate you. I have found myself with ears, Ryan, before we get into our first segment, we'll take a break.
We do have to answer a couple questions.
I know we do, but what I was going to say is that, took me off guard here, is that I have found myself watching different media networks or media platforms so I can get a better understanding of the totality of the reporting, so that I'm not just seeing it from one side. And I if you don't like Fox News, if you don't like CNN, if you don't like MSNBC, if you don't like this, you don't like that, I would still encourage you to go watch it. For the longest time, I was not a huge fan of Bill Maher. And I'll tell you, Bill Maher, who's a comedian who does HBO, real time with Bill Maher. I mean, he has found a way to, again, have conversations, difficult conversations with people he does not agree with. And sometimes makes fun of it, and sometimes he has a great time. But I respect the hell out of the fact that he does that. So we should all try to gain that kind of level of exposure. And I think my last thing before we move into these questions is that just because your friend said it, just because you heard it from somebody else, doesn't mean it's true.
100%.
Just because you watched we're guilty of it on this platform. We have made the intentional effort to get you to click on a video after 5 seconds of us saying nonsense. Right?
Yeah.
And so we do that because we know that it's going to create a response to watch the rest of our video. And so now we don't do that in what I would say like a irresponsible way. But if I was a political show, which we are not, I could do the exact same thing, and it would just lead you down the path. I mean, the thing that's been failing in this country for the last 30 years has been the newspapers. And a headline is what gets people to read a story. And so if you just change the headline to create this clickbait type thing, and you don't read the article, it's going to you're gonna have no idea what just happened. And so stop being lazy in how you go about getting your information, do your due diligence, and learn. And if you do those things, then a lot of this will kind of work itself out. The problem is we just don't do that. And if there's any comments, I'm curious.
Yeah. So Den in the TikTok chat just before we go out, Den said, "Lost my best friend who passed at the tender age of 19." That is very sad, Den. A best friend is an extension of your family that I always thought kind of part of like they're part of the family, but they're not a part of the family. And I still have some friends that are like my second family with that. So very sorry to hear that, Dan. And then, has anyone in U.S. Soccer made any disparaging comments about Charlie's? I think U.S. Soccer has been kind of quiet in that regard. I don't think anyone has really made any comments on the situation at all. Have you? I don't think anyone has.
Yeah, I not that I'm aware of. I mean, I would like to think that being that they don't typically dip their hat into that, do they? I mean,
I don't think the U.S. Soccer really has been in any political side at all. Maybe that's because they're the national team and they don't want to be involved with that at all. I know I've seen over the years sports teams have their Instagrams have commented on it, but I've never seen U.S. Soccer be involved with anything. So
yeah, I haven't either. We come back here. We'll dive into tonight's U.S. Open Cup match. Give a little preview of that. Also, Big Ten men's and women's standings. Those have been updated here as of this morning. We will also have, not right in the show, but the college rankings will come out. United Soccer Coaches rankings will be updated here later this afternoon. So we'll have those hopefully tomorrow morning on the show. But either way, you're watching episode number 159 here this morning on the National Soccer Network.
Flint City Bucks are Michigan's top soccer franchise with 4 national championships, 9 conference titles, and 15 Great Lakes Division titles. They have produced 107 players for Major League Soccer, and they focus on attracting top talent and shaping soccer's future. Michigan Bucks Academy joins NLS Next new competition tier starting in September of 2025. This offers elevated levels of play and flexibility for high school participation. The Academy will provide premier development, high-performance training, and exposure to scouts through regional tournaments and MLS Next events. For more information on tryouts, training programs, and key updates as we prepare for our first season in MLS Next new tier, visit MichiganBucksAcademy.com.
Welcome back to Inside the Game. I'm Brian Glinsky. John Turner is just to my right here. But before we get into our next segment, I would like to give a quick shout out to my parents. You guys are celebrating your 25th anniversary. 25th anniversary. Also, thank you for getting married in 2000. Makes it easier for me to know when your anniversary is. But shout out to you guys. I owe a lot to you guys in terms of everything that I've done. Love you guys so much. I know you guys won't be going to dinner quite tonight to celebrate it, but hopefully you guys get that in sooner rather than later. So love you guys. Shout out to you guys for your 25th anniversary and to the next 25 more, hopefully. Love you guys. But yeah, we're back.
Happy anniversary, Mr. and Mrs. Glinsky. We're not going to name names here. Address is 1214. No, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. 25 years. It's a cool anniversary, and we're excited and happy for you. And there you go. Yes. So happy to be their anniversary, but also happens to be the start of the Final Four here of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. We have gone through qualifiers and round 1 through 5 and quarterfinals and you name it. But the Final Four have finally coming here tonight, starting tonight, as Nashville will take on and host Philadelphia Union tonight at 8 o'clock. Tomorrow night at 8:30, Minnesota United will host Austin FC. And those games, again, can be found, I believe, on Paramount is where they've been, I believe. But with that being said, let's talk about how Nashville got to this. So they swept aside DC United 5-2 in the quarterfinals.
Yes, you can find it on Paramount.
Wins include over Orlando City and an amateur side as well. Philadelphia took down New York Red Bulls in intense quarterfinals along a strong earlier rounds. And so those two teams, the cool thing about this whole thing is that for the first time in a long time, we are going to have all 4 teams have never won a U.S. Open Cup. And so we're going to have a brand new U.S. Open Cup winner here this year.
Yeah, and doing a little bit of research here. 2 of them have been to the finals. The Philadelphia Union and I believe Minnesota United have been to the final before, just not have won it. Union has been there 3 times, but have yet to win it. And I would say kind of just more focusing on tonight's game, because I'm sure we will focus a little bit more on Minnesota United and Austin FC tomorrow. Looking on tonight's game between Nashville and Philadelphia Union, Philadelphia is actually looking to win the double. They are currently atop of the Eastern Conference standings. I
think they have 56 points or 57 points.
Yeah, I still have it here. Yeah, Philadelphia 57 points, Nashville 50 points. And Nashville's actually in a little bit of a poor state of form at the moment. I don't know the exact number, but they've been dropping a couple of games after winning, I believe, 12 or they went on a 12-game unbeaten run. So wins and ties, but Nashville, they struggled as of recently. You can see Columbus is in that 5th spot, only down by a point. But Philadelphia Union also lost 7-0 this past weekend to the Vancouver Whitecaps. So that's something to look at. But another interesting kind of storyline when you're looking at the Philadelphia Union is every time that they've gone to the U.S. Open Cup final, they've also kind of finished towards the top of the Eastern Conference Finals. However, in the playoffs, they're an early exit. So that's something to look for as this season comes to a close here, what they do in the postseason and in the U.S. Open Cup. So if you're Philadelphia Union, hopefully that you can try to win this trophy and possibly win the double. But also Nashville. Got to give a shout out to BJ Callahan, all right? He was part of that interim moment for when they were in between Berhalter stint and Berhalter stint, and they played a pretty brand with U.S. Soccer. They were winning a ton of games, so we got to give a quick shout out to BJ Callahan. But Nashville, Philadelphia's kind of a little bit been a thorn in their sign as the years have gone on. So it should be a very, very good match. Both of these teams have been battle-tested in the PK shootout as well, so it should be a thriller.
Well, we'll obviously know more tonight here. We will give you our predictions here later in the show about who wins this game here tonight. But before we do that, let's get into Big Ten men's and women's soccer current standings here. We'll start with the men's side. And obviously, this is really early. This is like they played one
first
game. They played one game. But Maryland and Michigan and Rutgers, UCLA and Washington all sit with one victory here so far. The big one here is Michigan beating number 1 ranked Indiana here this weekend.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that because that's an impressive win for Michigan. And they were down 1-0 at one point, and then Michigan made it 3-1. Indiana pulls it back to 3-2, and then Palmer Alt misses a PK in the 90th minute. So this game had it all. If you get a chance to watch the highlights, go ahead and watch those highlights. But again, it's only week 1 here, so they've only played one time. Indiana's not even on. Oh no, they are right there. I didn't see them for a second, but again, it's one game, so there's still tons of season to go. But I want to give a quick shout out to Maryland's freshman player Rocket Ricketira. That is a sweet name. I mean, he's a really good soccer player as well. Won Freshman of the Week last week, and he's just got a phenomenal name. That's all I got to say. That's all I have to say about that.
It's always interesting, right? Because we laugh about this a little bit, and someone that sees a lot of different names on a weekly basis because of calling games and being a part of these rosters. Some parents, I would just say, are lazy when it comes to naming their kids. Okay, I'm just going to say that. Okay, like my last name is Turner. Okay, and so if my parents decided to call me my first name Turner, that'd be a really lazy attempt at, you know what I mean? But there are a lot of people out there that their first name and their last name is the same.
So
Mike, Jim. I'm not saying that might be that, but I mean we've actually come across that where you're like, oh wow, that was a weird take on that last name, first name combo.
Yeah, I mispronounced it. It's Rocket Ritter-Rita. That's his name. Ritter-Rita. That is a sweet name. He's a freshman. He's from Canton, Georgia. Came out of the Charlotte FC Academy, and he's a forward. But that is a sweet name, Rocket Ritter-Rita. I hope this dude plays for the U.S. one day. I really do, and I hope he leads us to a World Cup or something. Rocket Ritter-Rita. You're telling me Ritter-Rita scores a World Cup final goal for the U.S.? I really hope one day he plays for us. That's all I got to say. That's my take for the day.
Well, it's a good take. Let's take a look here at the women's side of the Big Ten. We've seen some movement. We've seen a number of teams in the Big Ten being ranked here these past few weeks. But look at there, Penn State sitting atop there. So far, if you look at this, again, one game for each side. Penn State, Purdue, UCLA, and Washington all have their first victory of the season. Penn State, again, right now, is Penn State ranked right now in I don't know if they're ranked in the top 25. I mean, they might be now. Michigan State, they have ties along with Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Minnesota, Nebraska, Northwestern, Ohio State, and Rutgers. And then you got your two teams who have not won down there at the bottom, Maryland and Oregon. They've got no points.
I don't see. Oh, Penn State's number 8. Penn State is number 8. Also, USC, they were one of the favorites to win the Big Ten. They lose their first game. They're currently USC. I just saw them. They're 15th in the top 25, and Ohio State and Wisconsin, I believe, are in there as well. Yes, they are 22 and 23. So the Big Ten, it's a deep conference for sure. I mean, when you have 18 teams, some of them are bound to be good. So, but no, that's a little bit surprised as well as USC for the women's side loses first game. Indiana for the men's side loses first game.
No doubt. You can take a look at our website, thenationalsoccernetwork.com, for more information about the Big Ten, as well as we start to get the rest of the conferences around the country. So take a look there. Also, our preview from tonight's matches and tomorrow's match are also available on thenationalsoccernetwork.com as well. So an interesting story. More of a scary story, to be fair, of what happened here on Sunday. We've seen players. We saw with Christensen here a couple years ago where he collapsed, right?
Erickson,
sorry, I don't know why I said Christensen.
Christian Erickson. This is
Christian Erickson, thank you. Where he collapsed, right, on the pitch. Scary CPR. I mean, so we've seen these sudden moments of tragedy, specifically in soccer. I can't look to a lot of other sports where you've seen someone who's, to be fair, outside of that one incident with Buffalo here.
Damar Hamlin.
Yep. 2 years ago, where his heart stopped on a weird hit, right? And so, but in soccer, it seems to have happened pretty consistently, over the last many years, as players have their heart just suddenly stop on them. And now I don't know that this is that specific scenario, but we are just used to, in the soccer world, kind of seeing that. But Seattle Racing
Racing.
Louisville match abandoned after D'Amelio collapsed. Now, so here's what happened. D'Amelio sat down on the turf during the first half stoppage time and then collapsed while being supported by a teammate. Medical personnel responded immediately and transported her to a local hospital for further evaluation. Now, supposedly, D'Amelio has a kind of an autoimmune disorder that kind of attacks her body. My wife and a lot of people around the world have autoimmune disorders that can have different impacts on their body. She, I believe, has one of these. Her quote is, "I'm lucky to have my family with me while I'm waiting for test results to come back." D'Amelio said in a statement released by the club, "I'm extremely thankful to the whole medical staff for the quick response. They've been with me every step of the way. The support from everyone has truly meant the world to me, and I'm excited to cheer on the girls this week." The score was 0-0 when the game was halted. The game will be replayed here tonight in the second half. It'll be done behind closed doors, and I believe it will not be broadcast. It will be tonight at 8 o'clock at Lumen Field in Seattle. But it's a very interesting, and again, I bring this up because it's one of those things where just like that, everything can come to an end. We talked about it earlier in the show, right? You saw it last week, right? Same thing can happen when it comes to these environments, and we've seen players who are exerting themselves, because soccer is one of those sports where you are exerting yourself for a long period of time. And as someone myself who's had 2 heart surgeries when I was younger, in my early 20s, because I didn't know what was going on with my heart. I had something called cardioablation, very similar to what Joey Harrington had when he played for the Detroit Lions. But I had an electrical issue, an arrhythmia that was creating a problem within my heart, and it would cause my heart to skip a beat. And if at the right moment it skips, it might not come back. And for me, I got lucky that it would just lower, my heart rate would increase. It would skip, but it would increase, and it would cause me to collapse. And so for me, my collapsing was just my body shutting down, but I never stopped breathing. I never lost my heartbeat. But for the players out there, that's happened to them. It's a very scary thing. It's a very real thing. And I would encourage everyone and anyone who plays in athletics to make sure that they have their heart checked before they go and exert themselves. Because a soccer game, you are exerting yourself for the entire game. Even as a goalkeeper, you are still exerting yourself. And so I think it's important. And whether you play hockey or soccer or basketball, it doesn't matter. We've seen it on basketball courts. We've seen it on soccer fields. Your life can come to an end just like that. So very, very scary situation. We come back here from our break. We'll get into our mailbag. So if you got questions or comments about the show, questions about soccer, U.S. men's national team, U.S. Open Cup, hey, NWSL, MLS, it does not matter. Get your comments in now. We'll discuss those. We posted some great stuff yesterday on TikTok. I'm sure we have some comments from that, but we'll take a look at that on the other side of the break. You're watching Inside the Game here on the National Soccer Network.
Experience the thrill of the game like never before with NSN's Game Rewind. Dive into full match commentaries enhanced with cutting-edge dynamic graphics, letting you relive the highs and lows of your favorite matches in astonishing detail. Whether it's a championship win or a legendary play, NSN Game Rewind bridges the past and future with a broadcast experience designed to captivate. Call 586-304-4405 and start watching today.
Welcome back here into episode number 159 here on this Tuesday, September the 16th. Just one episode away from 160, 41. Well, maybe 40 and a half now, give or take, from 200. I started to think about this. We have done 159 shows this year, all the way back to the first week. Our first show was on January the 6th, by the way. No pun intended. But it was on January the 6th. That was our first show ever inside the game. But Ryan, man, we're about to dive into some mailbag questions or comments here. Hey, if you want to get involved in our chat, it's really simple. Just, make a comment. I mean, hey, ask a question. Let us know, hey, where you're watching from, what you're tuning in, what are your passions as it relates to soccer? Because if you're watching this show, chances are you are a fan of the game of soccer, the game of football, as they say everywhere else here except in the United States. But hey, what is on your mind this morning? We had a question here earlier from Den asking about whether or not there was anything from U.S. Soccer. I'm going to look into that. I don't believe there is anyone from U.S. Soccer that's gotten into it, but nonetheless, it's a good question. At least asking about whether or not anyone, and I would like to hope that not, but. I think I saw something yesterday that said over 43,000. There's currently like an AI thing running on people who have applauded the death of Charlie Kirk, and I think it's up to 44,000 people. And so what it's doing is it's counting how many people have applauded it, and then finding out where they work, and then making a list so people could maybe get those people fired. So, I
gotta be careful what you do on social media.
Gotta be careful.
Gotta be very careful.
Yeah, there you go.
So yeah, we have a couple of comments. Yesterday made a MLS recap video regarding the 57 goals that was tied in MLS record back in 2022. TSJ says 57 goals is crazy, 100%. And this Minnesota United fan got a little upset with me. Don't worry, you are going to get a special. I will reply to your comment on TikTok. I will make a special video for you recapping your goal. And you guys are in the U.S. Open Cup semifinal, so you will get another video on that as well. But Minnesota United FC Talk said number 4 team beating the number 2 team in the league on the road is not a highlight game. I just kind of forgot about it, man. We're trying to keep the videos within a minute and a half. So yeah, that was a little bit. I kind of forgot about it, but don't worry. I said I will do a video for you. Said he figured we were playing a coastal team, so we'd get coverage. Usually that's what it takes for flyover teams. You're going to get a video today, so don't worry. You voice your opinion, you will get a video for that. Regardless of any team that you support, you will get a video. If you ask me to do it, I will do it, because I figure that the people need love in the chat and need videos about them. But I want to get back to one where we can actually have a little bit of debate. So Ricardo Pepi, we should probably make a segment on who our future number 9 is for the U.S. men's national team. We got to do it at some point soon with Balogun, Pepi, and Sargent. So I did a video on Sunday about Ricardo Pepi's brace he had for PSV. Scored 2 goals in that victory, which they were up. I think they won that one 5-3, by the way. And Bryce Campbell 253, a ton of typos, but he said Pepsi over Sargent any day of the week. If Pepsi stays healthy, he competes for the starting job. No mention of Balogun. But John, would you take Ricardo Pepsi over Josh Sargent?
Well, I am a huge fan of Pepsi Zero, if that's what you mean. But you said, is it Pepi or Pepsi?
Yeah, Pepi, obviously.
I'm sorry, I had to give you. I have been picked on for saying motorboat on this show. I have been picked on for saying things. So I have made it. I have intentionally made my point these last couple of days with Nate Wengler saying he's going out west to Iowa, and then you saying Pepsi. I'm gonna eat. But before the show even started this morning, as I get ready to dive into this. This guy over here comes in, man. He's got his allergies going. And this guy is sneezing everywhere. I mean, it's just flowing. I'm like, dude, grab some alcohol, some Purell or whatever, and some Clorox. Dude, just like, come on, my guy. Like, he was just sneezing up a storm all over our production studio. Everyone's gonna get sick now. I mean, it's just it's just not good. It's not
just been allergies. And this is the worst time for me to kind of host the show a little bit. Like normally if we have Nate here, I don't talk as much. So I'm okay with I can have my mic muted. All I got to do is press a couple of buttons and have Nate and John go after each other. But no, this is the worst time to have a slight allergy attack this week. But we're pushing through. We're pushing through. But yeah, would you take Pepe over Josh Sargent?
I don't know. Both have not really shown me anything in the act. You're playing in your club environment is so vastly different than that playing for your national team. Again, I would have to compare. We'd have to compare their stats for the U.S. men's national team, and so which I'm gonna do right now. But
I'm on it too.
If you had to ask me who I picked today, if today I'm making my choice, it's Josh Sargent.
Yeah.
If it's today, if I have 4 more months and more body of work to see over those two players, then. But right now, for me, it's Josh Sargent. Ricardo Pepi is someone coming in off the bench. I told you before, I'm not a huge fan right now of Gio Reyna. And now Balogun, he just scored a goal. Right now, you could argue is a great pass in from Pulisic, right? Finding Balogun up the left-hand side there at Laura.com Field in Columbus. And he slots one far post, man. It was a great finish.
We would have had the video if someone wasn't talking.
Wasn't me, by the way. Just to compare, but yeah. So if you ask me right now, it'd be Ricardo Pepi. He makes his way in.
Well, I'm
sorry. It's Josh Sargent makes his way in, not Pepi. Sorry.
So looking at a couple of the USA stats, and again, there's a couple other questions in this chat that I still want to get to. We still have some time, by the way. This might be like the first show we've done in a while where we might get done by 10 o'clock. That's crazy. Yeah. But Ricardo Pepi, so far this season, 3 matches, actually 4 matches, 2 goals that he just scored for PSV. Again, Eredivisie, you can compare the Eredivisie and the Championship. Sargent, 6 goals in 6 matches for him. But if we go over to the U.S., Josh Sargent did not score a goal in the World Cup. He played in 3 games, of course, off the bench. Copa America, he scored no goals off the bench. World Cup qualifiers, 3 matches, no goals. But if we go over to Ricardo Pepi, he played in the World Cup qualifiers back in 2021, 2022. That's where Ricardo Pepi kind of made a little bit of a name for himself. 3 goals in 10 matches. And then we go to Copa America, 0 goals in 3 matches. He's not played in anything since the Copa America for the U.S. But I would say, based on form right now, I'm going to take Josh Sargent. He was in the most recent camp. Ricardo Pepi was not. Sargent, you can say what you want to say about the championship. That's the best second-tier division in the world. I don't care what you say. That's the best second division tier in the world. Is it better than the Eredivisie? I wouldn't say so, but I think some of the teams would be able to compete in the Eredivisie. I think so, but the top teams like PSV and the other Ajax, I'm forgetting about them, that is a better teams than anyone in the championship. But I want to go to another comment about the same situation in the same video. This one is from Dev. Josh Sargent has had chance after chance with the men's national team and hasn't scored a goal for the U.S. in how many games? It should be Balogun, Ricardo Pepi, Haji Wright, and Downs. That's who he thinks the 4 strikers should be.
Yeah, I guess who is our natural goal scorer, right? And I think that's an important thing, right? Because whether we play a true 9 or a false 9 is also an important factor in this, right? Because again, I don't know if we have a natural that they have just had this gift to go score goals. I don't think we have that. We could look at players like Ronaldo who has that gift. Just goes out and scores goals. Now he's not the same player he used to be, right? And we can talk about both Ronaldos, not just the one, right? And so there are players out there that are just natural goal scorers, and when you give them the ball, they go and score goals. Depending upon what that 9's role is going to be, whether they're a true 9 or a false 9 in the World Cup, will determine who we use. And I would argue that Josh Sargent is both a better true 9 and a false 9 for the U.S. men's national team currently. He can do both. Now, if you're saying, hey, from a false 9 standpoint, then I would go with Balogun all day long. That's all his role. If it's a false 9, he's going to go, right? If you're talking about, again, a true 9, again, holding the ball up, not going to look to really do a whole lot, going to play the ball back to an attacking center mid, and hopefully that's a Pulisic or something along those lines. I don't want to see Diego Luna at that ACM role. I keep saying that. Then my perspective would be different. In that scenario, I don't have a problem with a Pepe being in that moment. I don't have a problem with a Haji Wright. I don't think Balogun can be that quote unquote true 9, right? And so you don't want him to hold up the ball. You want him to get the ball and go. And so use his speed to his advantage, right? And things like that. So I think that those things are factors. But if you're asking me based on right now, it's Josh Sargent, because I think Josh Sargent can do both. I think Josh Sargent can use his abilities to be a false 9 and a true 9 at the same time. I think that makes him a very good player. I think it gives us the best chance to do more. But then again, we saw what Balogun can do. But also, if we're playing with 2 up top, right? We played. I think we played 2 up top in that game. Did we not?
Against
in the Japan game, did we play 2 up top? Or we
no,
played
it
one?
was a 3-4-3.
I think they said it was a 3-4 something else. Maybe I'm wrong.
I can give it a look.
Double check. I'm curious the formation. But anyways, I think Josh Sargent gives us the best right now. Both, but that could change because again, a lot's going to happen in the next couple months.
Yeah, it was a 3-4-3 is what it was.
So
But I think they kind of moved up a lot as the game went on. So it changed, but yeah, no, it was a 3-4-3. But I would take Josh Sargent over Ricardo Pepi right now if I had to pick. I would say that. But again, it's the striker conversation is really hot. So Nate made a video also on Sunday about his 3 biggest takeaways. I believe 3. Let's see what he says. 3 biggest takeaways from this whole window. So this guy Eric Hepp has had a little bit of a lengthy comment here, but he said Pepi greater sign Balogun right now. I was a huge Pepi hater, but he really shined last season at PSV, 11 goals in 18 games, and got hurt at the most unfortunate time. With Balogun out, Pepi was our out-and-out starter, but now he is coming back from a pretty serious injury, scored a brace last weekend, and I'm excited for Champions League to see how he really does. The question now shifts. Would you take Balogun over Pepi or Pepi over Balogun?
Well, what have you done for me lately?
Pepi has not done anything
That's
lately.
what I'm saying. So I think that as a coach, you go with a player that, again, we're talking about a short window. We saw 2 games, but Balogun scored in one of those games. And so if you're asking me about who is going to give, the next window, right, coming up here, I think there's a window in October, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
So
about
the next
a month.
window in October, what are we going to look for? I'm looking for Balogun's earned, obviously, that spot to be there. And so I want to see more from Balogun. I want to see more from Josh Sargent. Now, I want to see something from Pepi, but again, that all depends on whether or not Pepi's going to be there or not. Who knows? Who has any idea what's going to happen here in the next window? But at this point in time, what have you done for me lately? And as a fan, that's what you want. Now, what have you done for me lately in across the pond does not correlate to what have you done lately for me on the U.S. men's national team. Okay? Even Christian Pulisic, but Pulisic had an assist. Pulisic was very, very effective in that game against Japan.
Yes, he was.
Extremely effective. Why? They actually started to use him more. They started to use him more in the middle of the park. Yes, he stayed out wide, but you get him the ball in the middle of the park, he can start to spread out wide and take advantage of the space that's been given to him. But again, what have you done for me lately? And Balogun has done something. He has a goal. And so, hey, that means Pepi's got to get out there. But when you put him out there for 15 minutes, he's got to show you something. He's got to get some shots. I mean, what did we see from McGlynn? I mean, McGlynn was out there for like 10 minutes. And my gosh, that guy had, how many chances in 10 minutes? We saw one rattle off the crossbar. To be fair,
would have been
I think
sweet.
it went in. I still think it went in, but it bounced off. So we saw him in about a 6-minute span. He had at least 3 or 4 chances on goal.
Yeah, he did. And just going over before we get to the last question, it's a little bit different. So, but looking back at the stats for all 3 of these guys on the USA level, Josh Sargent 29 appearances, 6 goal contributions, 5 of them goals. Ricardo Pepi 33 appearances, 16 goal contributions, 13 goals. And then for Fellerin Balogun, 19 appearances, 9 goal contributions, 6 goals, 3 assists. So
How many
again,
Sargent had?
he had 6 goal contributions with 5 goals and 29 appearances.
And Pepi's had how many?
13 goals and 33 appearances.
So Pepi scored 13 goals in 33 appearances.
Yes. And then last question here before we get to question of the day, obviously my favorite part of the show. This _C_, he said, what about midfielders? Number 10, we are lacking a true playmaker right now. Really, we're not lacking a true playmaker. We're just not playing the right playmaker in the right spot.
Yeah, that would be a fair statement. Like I mentioned, putting out Pulisic out wide doesn't make a ton of sense, especially when we don't have the other pieces, right? You take a player. If you're going to tell me right now what would be like the perfect setup right now for that 10, right? I think it's Pulisic, and I think again with Josh Sargent, a Balogun, a Pepe. I think that you have put yourself in a great spot by having one of those three players to fit in that 9 role to play off of Pulisic. And I think, again, we need to start to see that in these next coming friendlies. I need to start seeing Pulisic at that 10. He's our best player. And again, because we say he's the 10, doesn't mean he's the 10 the entire game. I mean, we will see him drop into a 6. We'll see him drop into an 8. We'll see him drop out to a 7 or an 11. We'll see him drop out to these different positions out wide and as you're getting forward with the ball. And that all that does is it helps us as a team spread out more, get more width, stretch the field, and allow us to be more just like I'm using your phrases now, more dangerous, right? And so I think that's an important thing to acknowledge with that. But yeah, I agree. Pulisic at the 10 role, I think, is imperative for our success here coming up in the World Cup.
Yeah, 100% agree with you. I think Pulisic should play the number 10 role. But let's get into our last question of the day. Man, we got 4 minutes to spare. This is crazy. But before we do that, Salt Athletic, an official sponsor of us here at NSN. Save 15% off by using promo code NSN15. Scan that QR code on your screen or visit saltathletic.com today. John's already telling me to do it. But question of the day, who's going to win tonight between Nashville and Philadelphia?
Bam. Okay, Music City. This game's happening in Music City. You've got I don't know.
It's one place I want to visit, by the way.
I've been there. It's a phenomenal place.
I want to visit.
Just be mindful that if you drink there, you might not make it back to your hotel. But my question, let's look at the MLS standings here real quick. I want to go into that Eastern Conference. Let's take a look here. Nashville, Philadelphia, right? Right now, Philadelphia is sitting atop the table. They got 57 points. Nashville sitting 7 points behind in 50. So this is a really, really good matchup. So you've got two teams here tonight who are facing off, who are already in the playoffs. Right? I mean, pretty damn close for Nashville, right? Their record, what is that? They've got they're 15 10 and 5.
Yes.
Right? 17 7 and 6. So these two teams are very, very similar in their makeup. But being this is a home, being that's in Music City, I'm going to go with Nashville with a 2-1 win in overtime.
Oh, wow. In OT.
In extra time. I'm going to say Nashville wins 2-1 in extra time.
I am going to go the opposite of you. I am going to go Philadelphia Union.
Did we lose did our TikTok live end?
Oh, it discontinued due to inactivity, is what it says.
Wow.
Just a couple of minutes ago.
Well, there you go. I guess we're back, huh?
Yeah, we'll just go live for this real quick.
That was interesting, but go ahead.
Yeah, let's go live real quick. Yeah, we're back live. Woohoo! But yeah, I'm gonna go Philadelphia Union to get it done here tonight. I think that I think they're just a team that's going to continue to win games. I think they're going to reverse some of the past, little ghosts of the past, by winning this trophy. They've been there before 3 times, mind you, and they're top of the league. They're top of the league in the Eastern Conference. That is, I really can't say top of the league. They're top of the conference in the Eastern Conference. I think this is a team that is ready to get it done, and I'm going to go a little bit based off the up-down theory. They lost 7-0 their last time out. You know that they're ready to get right back on the field to reverse those mistakes. They don't want to get embarrassed again. I'm going to go Philadelphia Union wins it 3-2. I'm going to say Philadelphia Union wins it 3-2 over Nashville.
Well,
Look at that. It's 9:59. Look at that.
I know, right? I know. Hey, so if you want to stick around on TikTok, join us over on TikTok. We're going to stay live for 15 more minutes there only. So that's right. We're going to stay live there for 15 more minutes. So if you want to come over and join in, get in the comments, and follow us, we'll offer some really cool things there. So stick around there. But that's a wrap here on number 159. A shout out to Nate Wengler, who's currently out west right now in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Got a game tonight.
They could win the World Series or Midwest Series, whatever it is.
It's called. They could win the ship tonight. Grand Rapids Whitecaps taking on the Cedar Rapids. Whatever.
I don't know.
I don't know their names.
Iowa.
I don't follow.
He's out west, so
I don't follow baseball at that. Either way, regardless, Tuesday, September 16th, episode 159 is officially in the books. We appreciate you stopping on by. That's Ryan Glinsky. I'm Jonathan Turner. Be back here tomorrow morning, Wednesday, September the 17th. Here with episode number 160. See you guys tomorrow morning, same time, same place. From the biggest matches to the hottest takes, Jonathan Turner and Nathan Wengler bring you the stories, the analysis, and the edge you won't get anywhere else. Streaming live weekdays at 9 a.m. on YouTube, Roku TV, Facebook, Twitter, and all major platforms. No filters, no fluff, just real talk, real soccer. This is Inside the Game.